Hola clase, en este video de hoy vamos a ver que hay muchos verbos que funcionan como el verbo gustar. Ya sabemos que el verbo gustar es un poco distinto y estos verbos tienen la misma estructura que gustar. All right, so I have some good news for you and I have some bad news for you. The good news is that all of these verbs that we're going to be talking about today, they all function like the verb gustar. So since you already know how to use the verb gustar, you really already know how to use all of these verbs. The bad news is that there's a lot of these. So this list here, there's about 10 different verbs that are like gustar on this list. But this is definitely not an exhaustive list. This barely scratches the surface of all the verbs that work like the verb gustar. So this is just some of them. And probably the main challenge will just be remembering what all of these different verbs mean. But as long as you know that you're going to use them like gustar, then you'll at least have a head start. And then the other thing that's really tricky is translating these verbs into English. You're going to see it's really difficult to do because we don't really express things in this way. And so that will be the other challenge you'll see as we go throughout this slide, that you'll see there's multiple different ways to translate these things, and there's no perfect translation into English because we say these things completely differently in English than we do in Spanish. So with that said, let's look at the definitions for some of these verbs. And keep in mind that these definitions are for what these things mean in English. And I'll kind of show you as we go throughout the other slides what I mean by that. So gustar, of course, is our verb that we're starting with, which means to like. And encantar means to love. So if you want to express that you like something more than just liking it, then you would use the verb encantar to express that you really like something, that you love something. Fascinar means to fascinate. Interesar is to interest, like something interests you, like a certain sport is very interesting to you. Importar is to matter. Molestar is to bother or to annoy. I know this verb sounds bad, but in Spanish, it does not have any negative connotations. It literally would be like your younger brother that's making noises and annoying you. You just can't stand the sounds that they're making, or they keep poking you or bugging you. That's how we use that verb in Spanish. Caer bien, to get along well with someone, or caer mal is to get along badly with someone. I would translate this probably into English a little bit differently. I would say somebody either rubs you the wrong way, or they're just really likable, like they're easy to be around. Quedar bien is to fit well. This is talking about clothes. So if something fits you well, like a hat fits you well, or shoes fit you well, or quedar mal, which is to fit badly. Doler is to ache. So we use this when we're talking about pains that we might have when something, a body part hurts. And then faltar is to lack. So whenever you don't have enough of something. All right, so let's look at some examples for our first verb, fascinar. Me fascina acampar en el otoño. So one way that you could translate this, which would be a pretty direct translation, would be camping in the fall is fascinating to me. And you're going to notice that we read a lot of these sentences backwards because the subject of the sentence, or the person that's liking or being fascinated, that's really not your subject. The subject is the thing that is fascinating. So camping is actually the subject of this sentence in Spanish. In English, though, we are the subject in this sentence. And so you really have to wrap your mind around this new idea. In English, we are the ones that like things. We are the ones that are fascinated by things. We are the subject. But in Spanish, we are not the subject. The things around us are the subject, and they cater to us. So they're the ones that do the actions to us, and we're just the recipients of those actions. And so that would be one way. But of course, you could say I am fascinated with camping in the fall, or something like that. You could translate it differently into English. Te fascina la música clásica. So classical music fascinates you. A ella le fascinan los videojuegos. So video games are fascinating to her. All right, here we have the verb interesar. So a la chica le interesa mucho el libro. The book is very interesting to the girl. Or in English, we would probably say the girl is very interested in the book. No me interesan las obras de teatro. So plays or theatrical productions are not interesting to me. A ellos no les interesan las telenovelas. So soap operas are not interesting to them. And here we have the verb importar. So we use this to talk about things that matter to us or things that are important to us. So nos importa mucho la salud. So health or our health is very important to us. Les importa tener amigos fieles. So having faithful friends is important to them, or since it's les, we can assume that it's them. In this case, we would have to have a little bit more context to know for sure exactly who our subject is. A ellos no les importan mucho las notas. So las notas is grades. So the grades are not very important to them. Here we have the verb molestar. So el niño me molesta mucho. So the child bothers me a lot. A ti te molesta limpiar la casa. So cleaning the house annoys or bothers you, or it's a bother to clean the house to you. A Marta le molestan los anteojos nuevos. So the new glasses bother Marta, or maybe you would say Marta is bothered by the new glasses, or Marta is annoyed by the new glasses. All right, so caer bien or caer mal. This one's really kind of tricky to translate into English. So I'll try to give you a couple different examples. So te cae mal mi hermana. And this is saying something like my sister is not likable to you. Or I guess you could translate it as you don't get along well with my sister, or like my sister rubs you the wrong way. The next one, le caen mal todos mis amigos. So all of my friends are not likable to him. It doesn't exactly say for sure who our subject is because it says le. So it could be him or her, or it could also be usted, like the you in a formal way. But what we do know is all of my friends, they are not likable to this other person that I'm talking about. So this other person doesn't get along well with my friends. Todos los estudiantes me caen bien. So all of the students are likable to me, or I get along well with all of them. I don't have a problem with any of them. For quedarse bien or quedarse mal, we have esa camisa te queda bien. So that shirt fits you well. Me quedan mal los zapatos. So the shoes fit me poorly, or the shoes don't fit me well. A Mario le queda bien el sombrero. So the hat fits Mario well. Would be ways that you guys could translate these sentences. All right, and then for doler, which means to ache or to hurt, a ella le duele mucho la cabeza. So, a simple translation is just saying her head hurts a lot. La pierna me duele mucho, so my leg hurts a lot. And el dedo le duele mucho a usted. And so you, this is using the you formal, usted, your finger hurts you a lot. I do want to just point out that there's three parts here and it doesn't matter where you put them. So ella, you can put at the beginning. Or you could have put it at the end, like that last sentence where usted comes at the end. Or like in the second example, we didn't even put the and then me in there. We just didn't even include it. You can put the body part at the end, la cabeza, or you can put it at the front, like these two, la pierna and el dedo. And then, of course, the other part you have there in the middle. So you've got the le duele mucho, me duele mucho, and le duele mucho. That part usually does come in the middle or so. For the last one here, faltar, so to lack or to be missing. A Pepe le falta dinero. So money is lacking to Pepe, or we would just translate that simply in English to say, Pepe doesn't have any money, or he's out of money. He's lacking money. Nos falta experiencia en la cocina. And so experience in the kitchen is lacking to us. We are lacking experience in the kitchen. Me faltan dos jugadores en el equipo. And so I'm lacking or I'm missing two players on the team. The most important thing with all of these verbs is I just want you to see that they are being set up exactly like gustar. So they always need that indirect objects pronoun before them. And then you are conjugating these verbs either in the el, ella, usted form or in the ellos, ellas, ustedes form, depending on the thing at the end of the sentence that's actually your subject, not on the person who is kind of like in English usually considered this subject. And then also, if you want to specifically identify the person at the beginning of the sentence, just remember you do have to use that in front of whoever the person is. All right, we'll practice this more in class. Adios.